Hello, today's podcast is about human behavior, and some people hack computers, and my guest today hacks human behavior. Welcome, Susan Ibitz. I hope I pronounced this name correctly.
Yes, actually, my last name is coming from the German side. It's Austrian. It's Jewish Austrian. So you pronounce it correctly. I should have learned Deutsch or German. That is my root of the name, but not for now.
Yeah, and to give my audience more background about you, Susan has more or less successfully analyzed human behavior and especially in its impact on other people, how to analyze it. And in terms of body languages, in terms of a mimic expression, in terms of linguistic and face reading. But I think you add something more precisely than sorry for my ignorant view, but I think it's a fascinating matter, and I'm so proud to have you on this podcast today.
Thank you very much, Michael. I will not say ignorance. I think when you don't know that it exists, it's not ignorant. I think the concept of ignorance is the same concept of madness. Keep doing this every day the same and expecting a different outcome, or keep complaining about things that you know and you're not adapting to your life. So I completely get it. What we do, what I do, I know there is none other companies who have all the things together on the way that we do it. So I get surprised people all the time.
Okay, I think behavior, and just to start for the first question, because I think the audience is curious about behavior is everywhere. That what I understand, and especially every relationship builds on as well accepted, non-accepted, accepted, non-accepted behavior. You have a kind of action thing. But can you just describe what you consider everything about behavior and why it is so important in business life to understand behavior, how it works, how people react on behavior? I think would be a good start, yeah.
Well, behavior as a concept, I always say, I don't have any degree in psychology. I shrunk and failed and go into college because I'm highly dyslexic, but I find another way, and I found that actually behavior was more broad than the initial career of psychology that I wanna take in my first path. Behavior is what you do every day. Your dog have a behavior, your cats have a behavior that usually are really similar to their owners. My cats and my dog, they're like couch potatoes. Like, you need to push them I need to push my dog to go to pee outside. Like, he doesn't want to move. It's like me. I'm getting on the couch, I don't move. Behavior has to do with helping people to leave an addiction. Behavior has to do with the things that you do every day. Behavior has to do with train your brain to do things different. Behavior has to do with changing the habits that you have that maybe are not helping you. Like, for example, the burned out. Most people is burned out and is working 40% more than they working before. What is the behavior happen? Because we cannot fix the behavior, then we need to learn to work from home and says, okay, I need to have a corner that is going to be working. And when I leave that corner, I'm not working anymore. That is a behavior too. So we don't need to go to the high science PhD to understand that everything that you do is a behavior. If you start thinking about how many things you do between you leaving the bed and getting your breakfast done, you gotta get exhausted. Like doing your bed, brushing your teeth, washing your face, combing your hair, getting dressed. If you make a list and like, oh my God, but you have been taught those behaviors since you're a kid. So for you are natural. So the difference is certain behaviors that you need to learn in life that they're more difficult for adults because they're not being incorporated since you're a kid or in the middle school.
But that means there exist some learned behaviors and probably some instinct behaviors because a human being is kind of an animal as well. It means like you fear, you flee. But there as well learned behaviors, how to the table manners, for example. The Chinese eat differently to the Germans or to the Americans.
Every behavior can be learned and every behavior can be modified. Has to do with your acknowledge of those behaviors. What you do is a behavior and tendency. My personality is a behavior. I can change it, I can modify it, I can improve it. But it's important to be acknowledging your own behaviors before you point in another ones. One of the things that I learned when I went from solopreneur, political consultant, when being a solo wolf was needed, and like, okay, I'm going to move to corporate training and police and security, and like, oops, I need to have a team. I don't know how to manage people. I know behavior, I know how to read you, profile you, but how am I going to work with people every day? So I look for 3 coaches, one in sales, one in marketing, and one in business, and says, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, but you teaching other people how to do it? Like, yeah, but I don't know how to have employees. So I coach with them for 6 months, and still we have every other week a meeting. And my first behavior that I need to modify is I'm not working in politics anymore. I'm not working with only host negotiators. My people need to be people who need to compliment me. So my behavior need to change from not giving, because it's happened to me. One of my research on the team, and says, I'm tired of you paying me for 2 weeks and I haven't had any work done. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I don't know how to delegate. I don't know how to tell you because I feel it's going to take me longer explain you what you need to do instead to do it myself. But at some point, I need to sit with you and explain you what I need. And now I just send a text like, I need all the research on X and Y, and I have 15 pages 48 hours later, and even she knows how to put it on the order that she knows that I need. But it took me a month and a half to sitting with her and make it understand how my brain works, understanding how her brain works, to find the best way to short the gap and the bridge. But I needed to learn behavior, even though, and now I'm teaching managers, and like, you know what? I found myself that I don't need to have my team learning who I am. I need to learn from my team. Because when I take the time to interview people saying, what do you want to do with your life? What is your dream? And they're like, what are you going to do in 5 years? Like, I don't care. What are the things that you wanted to do and nobody gave you the chance? And that's when I start learning their behaviors and I start matching people inside a team. They're complementary each other because they have completely opposite behaviors, nationalities, language, even they are in different continents. And they're the best working together. Why? One is visual, another one is audit. One is a people person, the other one looking for research. So when we put in these things together, we have improved our team. But the one who need to learn the behavior, change the behavior, was me, because I'm the head of the 2 companies.
Because you're leading it, and it's not funny because I'm doing more or less the same. I'm coming really for companies. They need a clear vision, what they want to do, what they want to become, what's a big positive vision for their life as a company. But they need as well a purpose to go there. Means what is the big purpose to get to this vision? And that keeps you every day alive, gives you the energy, the power to do even the nitty-gritty jobs you have to do to get to this big vision. The mission is more or less the company itself, if you like. And those 3 things, mission, vision, and purpose, are so important in life. And the same with behavior. I mean, behavior and a complementary team is so important. If you only select people who are copies of yourself, you don't achieve anything, because then you have exactly the problem. You have to explain. Nobody
if you don't have people who complimenting you, nobody's challenge you. It's like when people says, oh, I want to find a partner who is like me. Like, why? I don't want to see myself on the mirror with different hairstyle. You need somebody who complimenting you. Equal is like, you're never going to have somebody who make you grow stronger. So one of the things that I love about my team is like, I ask them to be disruptors. I don't want you to agree with me. I want you to question what I do. I want you to be looking everything that we do and looking for a best way to do it. And says, what, do you want us to criticize us? Like, yeah, I need that. Everybody needs
Do it
that on the
differently.
team.
Yeah.
So, because it's the only way you grow. If you only ask for feedback to people who like your mom or your grandfathers and like, oh, honey, you're awesome, and you're not, it's not working. I used to have a business partner and she says, oh, it's awesome. And like, no, it wasn't.
Why?
It was horrible. And like get to a point like we are not growing. I am not growing in this relationship, and you're not growing to the point that make us grow, because you're not criticizing anything, because you're afraid to conflict with people. And what for you is conflict, for me is growing. So it's not going to work.
Exactly. And you need as well to read this behavior pattern to see, are people understanding what the big vision is? Where you want to go? But they have to do it on their way, because you do it a different way, and together you're a strong team. You find shortcuts to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. And probably what is so fascinating with your idea to predict as well kind of behavior patterns, means as a reaction to what you're doing. Coming to AI, the big theme, it's kind of a hype as well, if you like, AI and robots, combined with your knowledge about how emotions work, how you can analyze and predict behavior, would be beautiful as well for jobs where you very heavily rely on emotion, relationships, and communication especially. But is that really true, or do you think it's a nightmare? Because I would never do that for those jobs, but it can support. I don't know.
When people start freaking out about a robot is going to take my job, and says, well, if your robot can take your job, it's called evolution. It's happened when Ford invented the assembly line. It's not that assembly line take your job. You need to be evolving. So this new reality is like, I'm going to lose my job. No, if you don't evolving with what happened, most companies who have brick and mortar, they need to move online, and they need to train their people to move online. Certain things like shipping and distribution cannot be moved online, but most people can move online. Other ones not, because they need the interaction every day. But when people fight about, well, one of the two professions that I train a lot are realtors and salespeople. And they say, oh my God, AI or robot is going to take my job. Like, no, it's going to help your job. We never have highest number of realtor websites on the story. Never. You know that 90% of the people still want to talk to a realtor, because an app is not going to tell me how I match my new story. When you're moving because you're looking for a new career, because you're getting divorced, because you're getting married, because you're having a baby. Those are the things that the AI is not going to contemplate, because it says, hey, I want a park near me. I wanted to have, I decide to become vegan, so I want to go to a place where vegan. I become single, so I want a place where are singles and my target age. Those are the things that human can give you. The same happen in security and happen in sales. I was talking with a sales company training, and says, well, we have an app and a software who can tell us what is the personality of the people based on what they write on the media. Do you know that 90% of the people, they don't write their own things on the media? Somebody else write it. And actually, it's not going to show your real personality, because you're not down on the media. You're positive. I ran my own perspective of my writing on the media. I do write my own media, but I never downlifting, uplifting. So it says I'm extremely extrovert. Like, no, I'm an introvert. I'm an hermit. I don't like to be around people. I'm not a social person. I avoid networking. And actually, the app says the completely different, because the words I choose to communicate with others are to uplift people. Actually, it's a study that with the oh my God, I just forgot university is, I think it's Greenwich in UK. They have a riot. So they have a CCTV camera recording the faces, even the cover faces of most of the people doing the riot. An AI system identify approximately 2 people over 160. A human face, a human person can identify between 140 and 160. It's called the Super Recognizers Program. Actually, I apply for the program and I receive tests every time now and then. And they're covering their faces and different parts, and you need to determine which person is which. A human is more precise than a computer. So when people says, well, what about face reading? Like, first of all, it's been here for 5,000 years. I don't care if you think it's a science. I don't care if you think it's a witchcraft. I don't care how you call it. The only thing I can tell you is I can read a face when it's covered by a mask better than an IA, because computers are not used to only see. So if I see your ears, shape, height, earlobes, the touch of the ear, I can see your forehead, the shape of your eyebrow, the quantity of hair, the top of the tip of the nose, I can see the eyelids, the amount of eyelids. I can do a 50-page report. A computer is not being prepared for do that. So computers can help you if you know how to help. Like everything happened. The companies who went out of market, like Blockbuster and companies like that, is because they didn't evolve. It's not because they didn't have a good product. So Blockbuster went out of the market because they says, oh, nobody's going to be downloaded moving online. Kodak, they need to evolve. So start remember, Circuit City disappeared. Toys R Us disappeared because they didn't evolve to get to be curious and be creative. Nobody can take your job if you're curious and creative and you have emotional intelligence. McKinsey says by 2030, creativity, emotional intelligence, and curiosity are going to be the most on-demand job. Why? And I'm going to ask you a question. Michael, why you buy a toaster? What is the difference between a toaster who costs $15 and a one who costs $150? Both do the bread on the same time, in the same way.
Oh, none, exactly.
The design.
It's design, probably design, yeah.
Because a toaster spend more time, electrics spend more time in the counter of your kitchen that is spent doing the things they need to do. I have a toaster who is, everything in my house is mid-century 60. So I find a toaster who costs me way more money because the design is like on the 60s. And when I opened the package, it says, I really become a victim of my own complaints. I ended up paying so much money. I got a lamp that I've been looking for 18 years. There's circa 1954 because I saw it on an episode of Star Trek. And I bought it in Germany, and I was waiting for 2 months in custom to get clear. And when I got the lamp, it says, I really spent so much money on a lamp because it's original when I can have a fake one. And I spent 18 years of my life to get it. You know what? I don't have kids to send to college, but it gave me pleasure. So I use internet.
It's not emotions.
Yeah. So I use internet. Internet pick my emotions and put me until finally found an auction house who have the lamp. So instead to fighting with the IA, I use it. We program apps and we work with companies programming apps that in the last 4 months, we have been teaching people on airports, security, policemen, hostage negotiators, people who work in any kind of security from pharmacy to any store that you can imagine, how to read people with masks because people freaked out. Oh my God, I cannot be able to read anyone. Like, no. The most important part, you can read it. You can even read micro expressions on a person. So having a mask is not a problem. The point is, IA and CCTV cameras and software is not ready to do it yet. But we are ready as a human to identify because we can mix the actions with the emotions to understand better other people.
Exactly. You have more heuristics in your brain. You can really, because you know the slightly parts of the face, you can analyze much quicker. I think so as well, because as a computer, you need a full face recognition, and then you're running millions, trillions of calculations. Then you have the same face or the emotion or the behavior probably behind that. But it's so difficult still because
most people think that actually our brain processes information faster than a computer can do, because a computer is what you feed them. So, but our brain, for the left brain, right brain, emotions, story, personal feelings, we have a second brain. It's funny because people don't go, but the guts is your second brain. So when you go into a place and you have a feeling, and when you go into a place and like, what if that feels wrong? We don't pay attention because we try to rationalize. We try to use the left brain and we don't pay attention. Every time that I go in a place, I'm like, I went to a meeting on Monday on the place that I live. It's a big community. We don't have an HOA, but it's a community because it's a really small community and we are only 600 houses. And we are about ecology and recycle and things like that. And I went to the meeting because thank God here things start picking up. And I get to the meeting and I feel like this in my guts. And I have a neighbor that I don't have a good relationship. As soon as I turned my left, I saw that person. I felt that. I smelled that person. Yeah. I knew the person was in the room. So I make sure that I will not going to leave the meeting because I want to be part of the meeting. But I went to the other corner of the room, far enough that I don't even can smell that person. So it doesn't affect, and I don't have a bias based on what things they need to be decided based on the community needs and my needs, and make sure that this is still an ecology community, because that's what I love about here. This is a ecology communities, recycle. We have our own police, fire department, hospital, ambulance. It's an ecosystem community that I choose to live. So we're not going to leave the bias for one person to do it. Another thing, one of the good things that AI cannot do, and there's the biggest conflict, is recognizing race. They have a conflict with race, gender, and age. One of the good things with physiognomy or face reading, and again, it's been for 5,000 years, it's been used from Abraham Lincoln to jury selection. And by the way, everybody use it. Nobody say it because not a lot of people is teaching face reading. I don't see races. I don't see colors. I don't see genders. I don't see wrinkles. I see the map to your brain. So when I read a face, it's a GPS to your brain. When I see micro expressions, I see a GPS to your emotions. I cannot determine if somebody's lying by face reading or micro expression. I need to put all the things together. But what I can know by sure is how you intake information, how to process, and how I need to talk to you. Because it's not the things how I see it, it's how you are. So in order to eliminate bias, you need to start seeing people, and I know it's going to sound, and a lot of people are going to come to my jugular for what I'm saying. When I'm reading someone, when I need to profile a person, when I need to know what's really going on, I need to forget that it's a person, and I need to start paying attention to the signals. Because that way I eliminate bias. If I have a feeling for someone, I cannot read my friends because I have feelings. So I avoid to read them. Or when they say like, what do you think? Like, okay, I need to get on my working zone because you're part of my life. So I'm making an effort not to read you, and it's going to be biased, my opinion. So when I need to, even a friend, when they need to go to a new job, or they picking a partner and says, I'm going to send them to another profiler on the company, the pictures. Why? Because I know you. I know you so much that I don't know how much of what I know you or not is going to be getting on the way. That's the reason when somebody says, we need a 360. 360 is when we see how the body work, how they make decision, the word, the tendencies, the baseline, face reading, everything in a person, even personalities.
Holistic approach, yeah.
I don't ask for age. I don't ask for even gender. I don't ask for what are the position the person is going to be having. Nothing. I don't want names. I don't want anything. Less than I know, more accurate the profile is. Why? Because I don't have any bias. If the person, for example, I know is an ex-Nazi, I'm going to have a bias. I'm human.
Yeah.
So,
but it's the same what Einstein said. Yeah, you can't solve the problem by the way the old thinking they caused the problem. Yeah, the same is more or less with your analysis. Means if you are already biased by old thinking because is a friend, you have a positive affection to somebody, then you're biased. You can't analyze as precisely the mimics. You can do, but you have to concentrate probably much more. You have to spend more time to do that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I sometimes says. Choose your customer before you choose your business. Why? Because you're going to need to be working in a relationship with this person for a long time. When you're doing a training, sometimes most of the companies hire us for a couple of months because it's a change of mindset. It's not only giving a training, it's a change of patterns and things they do. Yeah. So if I'm going to need to be working with you for 6 months and I need to do reports daily, I need to at least like you. Or at least to know that can we disagree in what we're talking, that we can respect each other. I don't engage in arguments with people. It's like, whatever I tell you, you're going to use it to only reinforce destroying my work. I don't criticize anyone. I don't get in anybody's job. I ask the same. Do not use your bias in detriment of my knowledge, because you don't know me. You don't know how long I've been doing this. I've been doing this for 28 years, not 28 days. So I know my craft, and it's a reason it's still on the market.
Yeah, I think what you just said is one of the most important things in business. Business is all about relationship, nothing more. Relationship to your customers. Therefore, you're right. You should know who your customers are, what they want, what their problems are, what they want to solve. Like, I'm coming from banking. You don't need a credit. You want to live in a house, for example. You want to be mobile. But why you want to be mobile? Because you want to meet people. Yeah. And therefore you need a car, a train, or whatever. And therefore probably you need a credit from the bank. But it's only something to get there. It's not the product in itself. Only the demand, the problem a person has. That's something you have to understand. That is what's your client. And same for the employees. Are they have the same values as you? Do they want the same what you want to achieve as a big value vision? Not only I want to have 3 million in 2 years' time. That's not a vision. Vision is really to make the world a better place than before.
That is a dream. Yeah. You need to be educated. If you want to have 3 million in 3 years, you need to be educated how to do it. You're not going to be sitting on your couch and like, okay, I want to wake up in 3 years. I'm going to have the 3 million. Work for it.
It's a result. It's a result.
Yeah.
It's a result. It's not the vision where you want to be. Once you have the 3 million, and then what are you doing then? You still have no vision.
Every time that I start a company, I have a business plan and I have an exit plan. What is the exit plan? I'm like, well, get every business do this and get to a point that it keep growing. You need to hire more people, more training. So you're going to have a pace and where it's going to be flat. That's when I sell my business, because I don't have the patience to do this part. So when I get to this, I look for a business partner or sell my business and I start a new one because I like the excitement. But at least I know that about me. I know that what I need. I always need a business partner because I come out with ideas, but I get bored to the application of the ideas. So that's the reason I hire a boss. Now I have a boss. Mary is my boss. When it says, Mary, I have this idea. You're the project manager, make it happen. Tell me what I need to do. And because you founded and invented or created a company, doesn't mean that you're the good person to be a CEO. I don't like to be a manager. I don't like to be the CEO. When people says, oh, CEO of Human Behavior Lab and Human Behavior Hacker School, like, nope. I come up with an idea, but I have a boss. I hire a boss to tell me how to do it better. That is intelligent. Hire somebody who's better than you are and think that you know that you're not good at, and the business is growing since she's with us because she make it happen. It's not excuses. Even she doesn't allow me to have excuses. She blocked my Fridays from my calendar. I'm like, pardon me? Since when I don't have a Friday in my calendar? Because you need to sit and write. You haven't write in 2 weeks and we need deadlines. So you need to sit and write. I'm like, I hate you, but I love you. But you're right. I need to do that.
But how to select a great team is really you need diversity. People have to be different, thinking out of the box, and you need people who are good in administration. Yeah, they're not creative; they just administrate things you created, for example. But that's how the world is working. You have to know where you're strong. You need to know where you want to learn things, and as well for face reading or the body language reading. You can teach people, what I understand as well, salesperson, negotiators, as managers, or even when I looked at COVID, you have this digital school, doesn't exist really. But you have some things, but the whole digital schooling is lacking from the interconnection on the like in Zoom. You need behavioral learning. How can I know that a pupil understands what I'm saying? Therefore, you need face reading, for example. Yeah? Yeah.
We're going to be doing the first webinar with a human robot. Somebody has been developing a robot, a chatbot, a human chatbot, and she is a woman, it's a woman robot, and is trained how to pick emotions from the website. So when she starts cursing, it's because she saw it on the website. And she is going to be doing a webinar with us, and we're going to be talking in real time, because this robot was generated to help people with they're autistic, Asperger syndrome, or they have problems in teaching. Why? Because the human doesn't have the same patience to repeat the lessons to help this kind of population. So in this case, we don't have enough teachers on United States to teach students. So now AI in this case is going to help us. Why? Because it's going to start helping a population where we don't have enough teachers to do it. I use AI. I have an app to control my air conditioner in my house. I'm not fighting with it.
Yeah.
So like when I'm on the city and coming home, I'm like, oh my God, my house is too hot. I'm going to put the air conditioner. I have 35 minutes to drive. By the time I'm there, it's going to be perfect. I have my refrigerator who is telling me if I'm running out about something. I have an app who remind me that I need to pay my bank account. I'm not going to be fighting with the app, make my life easy. But if you're afraid to the AI, you're not evolving. So nobody's going to take your job. You need to evolve. It's called civilization. And most people says, oh, easy for you. Like, no, it's happened. People used to walk in legs and feet. And legs and hands. People used to not to talk. We used to do noises. We used to hunt in dinosaurs to eat. Now we're going to the supermarket. Call evolution. So I don't need to hunt. Now I work to pay for somebody else, do the hunting, get my steak, and can put it on the grill. So it's about evolution. If you wanted to go to the new reality, then I do need to understand that we don't know what it's going to be. But you need to be on top of what is happening. Today, we start doing webinars and segments that are called sales intelligence. Why? Because the craft of selling can be taught. I do agree it can be taught. But if you don't put science and behavior together, selling the same way there was before is not existent. I can sell you my cell phone, but in order to sell you the cell phone you need, and I can call you in a month and you can recommend me, I need to ask you behavioral-wise, what happened with your life? Are you going to be having your thermostat and your air conditioner in your phone? You want to be following your kids where they are? You want to have your cameras on your phone, so you need more memory. So I need to ask behavioral questions to know what you need. And at the end of the sales, I need to say, it's like, wow, I didn't know then I need so much memory for so many things that I need to be doing. So that is a behavioral sales. When even as a customer, you don't know what are your needs. But as a sales rep, I can determine those needs and follow up on them.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to use this technique, what is existing, have to think, be creative with it, and do new things with it. And that's why, for example, for this COVID-19, the school at home, they can apply much more AI, as you said. They can much more apply as well, probably face reading, just to see is a pupil following. The same typical thing, AI and medicine. I think most doctors are obsolete. You don't need them. They know the thing, the big medicine books, and the rest is doing diagnostic by machines. Why you need a doctor there? But you need a doctor with emotions.
To tell you what it means.
He knows the social environment. Yeah, he knows who you are, how you react, and he can give you more comfort doing this treatment, that treatment.
You can do telemedicine today. You have telemedicine. Yeah. You go to do the labs, and what happened now is I did telemedicine in my 2 controls this year. I went, did all my tests in one place. Then went to my doctor. She got online in an app, and she even showed me on comparison and tables like, oh, your cholesterol is lower, you're doing better, what is going on, what are your meds? We review everything, and I didn't saw her. I didn't need to.
But you need this trust to this person that you follow her advice. And that's where when a doctor can still earn money in future, but not by repeating knowledge within a book written. No, a lawyer, same. Just repeat articles and laws. You need emotions. That's, I think, where I can earn money. And I think you're right with this three things. Emotional intelligence is so important in the future. Especially in subjects like business administration, where I'm coming from, in law, in medicine, it's very quickly evolving, and you have to use this new technique, and you have knowledge on demand in reality. It means you don't have to dig into your cellar to find a book anymore.
Yeah. So again, everything, it's like, for example, my cell phone is telling me who's calling me and who's driving me crazy and what are my next appointments. I'm not able to remember everything. So personally, I still miss my BlackBerry. Guilty. I love it as well. I love the BlackBerry. I like the point. I like the small. And by the way, when I was working in politics, we never have a smartphone because smartphone can be hacked, and the flip phone and BlackBerry couldn't be hacked. So I come from that mentality, but I need to evolve. When I went to my provider and says, "Oh, I want the new BlackBerry," like, honey, it doesn't exist anymore. You must be the only last customer who holding a BlackBerry. Like, no. And I needed to adapt. And now I found that I still have my phone, but I found a way that work with my phone instead against my phone. You're in France, and part of France, even though you work in Germany, I'm in the States. And we having this conversation. Without AI, without the camera, the microphone, the software who help us, we wouldn't be here. Today, and it's funny, my biggest clients are in Germany. And one point I even think about moving to Germany because most of my clients in Germany, Czech Republic, and Italy. And 4 years ago, and says, you know what, guys, you paying for 2 days, me going to train you, jet lag. So it's 2 days of food, 2 days hotel. You need to bring everybody to Germany to be trained. Food for everybody, hotel. Do you know that 75% of your training payment has to do with accommodation? What if we do it online? I'm going to be happy because I miss my bed. I'm going to point of my life. I miss my bed, my bathroom, my clothing, the smell of my grass. And we try
your social environment, your friends, your family, whatever around you.
So everybody stay. We don't need to be flying people from Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt. So we ended up that people was less resistant to training. They don't need to leave the family. They do the training on their own time. I'm happy, and they saving a lot of money. And oh my God. So they move a lot of the training they do online, and only once a year we met for an engagement training. So what I do is I travel. I spend 3 weeks there. So I spend 1 week with people in Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich, instead to everybody putting together. And now that's the human interaction, but they don't need to fly me 4 times a year. And the money, and by the way, when I'm going, I need to be in first class because if it's not, I got extremely, extremely tired. So only the first class ticket for them is like $4,000.
I know.
Yeah. So you can hire more people.
I know, because I was traveling in Europe constantly, and it's a nightmare because you're staying in the hotel overnight. I mean, it's 5 days a week. I mean, you don't see family, you don't see friends. You're in a strange city you're not interested in because only you have a meeting the next day. It's in an online business, especially with COVID-19, it helps so much to reduce this travel expense, and that companies can reconsider what they're really doing, what kind of nonsense. It's much easier to do it online, to be an expert like you in close to Chicago. It's better than somebody who can't do this job close to Munich for a Munich company. I think you find better experts worldwide.
Yeah, I'm part of the summit and keynote speaking that I couldn't take before because there was overlapping with my calendar, because I needed to do Monday on Detroit and Tuesday I was supposed to be in Denmark. And says, okay, I need to say one note.
Nightmare.
My Detroit is my police training and they need me, and I've been hired for 3 years to do it. I cannot say, oh, you know what? You need to change the 57 policemen you bring in because I want to go to Denmark. I can't. So now I can do the Detroit. On Tuesday, I can be in Denmark teleconference and I can do my keynote speaking. That data training says, guys, we're going to end it up early. And actually is really good because I can do it really in the morning. That day I wake up really early. I do the keynote speaking. I ask to be the first one. So it's going to be around 8 o'clock my time. It's going to be around 5 p.m. theirs. So I'm going to be the keynote closing in Detroit. I'm going to have my green screen like I have it now, my microphone, my camera. I'm going to be perfect ready. I'm going to start the training 2 hours later. I'm going to give the extra time to the guys to do exercise. And I'm going to be in Denmark, Denmark being in Detroit. So actually my calendar become way more busy now thanks to COVID, because I have the chance to be everywhere when I couldn't physically, were impossible. Even if I leave Detroit at night and go to Denmark, by the time I get there, they are going to need a forklift to get out of the floor because nobody sleeps on flies. So it would be impossible. So it's about to adapt. People who is frozen, what happened with fear is you froze, fight or flight. Most people is frozen and fighting. So instead to fighting, start looking at like how I can use it in my benefit. And the reason I've been doing a lot of keynote for realtors and salespeople is like, guys, stop fighting. Actually, this can make your life better. Hello.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to. You can't change this condition. It's like this. Do the best with it. Be inventive. Yeah, do something new. And Susan, we are more or less. Yeah, it was fascinating talking to you because but the time is just seeing it's over half an hour already.
And I have a client waiting for me that he already sent me 5 emails. Like, we're supposed to be meeting 20 minutes before. I didn't realize we're in overtime.
Yes, and for my audience, if you like, I would love to give your contacts in the description of this video anyway, that they can contact and find more about your fascinating analysis tools and how to really to hack human behavior. I think it's a fascinating thing, not only for business but as well for in personal life as well. If you can,
our consulting company is humanbehaviorlab.com. That's when we tailorize all the training that we do. That is the consulting. But if you want to take us home online, we have an e-learning platform. By the way, started 6 months ago. It's not new. It's only invitation coach on. It's only invitation coaches. It's only about human behavior. You're not going to find anything else besides human behavior, and it's called humanbehaviorhackerschool.com. And if it's not, you can Google my name, Susans Ibitz, and it's going to take you to interviews, articles, and my websites. But if you go into humanbehaviorlab.com, it can take you to the school part. So are always open to new conversation and meeting new people.
Okay, I will as well, and I will bring the information as well in the description. Then everybody can read it and probably click on it. It's even better. Susan, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure having you on this podcast, and I learned so much in this more than half an hour, and it's really fascinating. I have to do much more about body languages. I'm not bad at it, but it's always I can improve. Everybody can improve.
We can do a special about AI and show exact examples how AI work and how human can do it better. Instead to being afraid, start like, well, I don't remember it was Tansu or Machiavelli says, keep your friends near, but your enemies more near than ever. Why? Because when you know how your enemy works, you can defeat it. So if you think the AI is your enemy, instead to reject it, start studying what are the gaps they have that you can feed on.
That's exactly, this is a very good finishing word. Susan, thank you very much. Yeah, bye.
Thank you very much, Michael. Bye.